insider told us you finished, you were telling the truth.
Yeah, believe it or not, surprise, surprise. It took one away. I was a 2, so should have been 7 for 14, but all good.
Just the confidence, the flow of the offense, like where did it come from the last 6 games?
Yeah, probably a combination of a lot of things. Just staying locked in, keep working, get my legs under me, finding ways to get the shots. I think I had to adjust again to the way defenses was playing me and the way we were playing offensively. And tonight, being able to get 3 catch and shoots right out the gate, I think that helps a lot. So, depends game to game. It's not always going to go my way, but got to take advantage when I get the chances.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're saying that you were coaching with him today.
Yeah.
Were you?
Hey, I'm not going to take the credit from Griffin. He did a great job stepping in for Coach. And, I thought he was very prepared and communicated well for us. So it's always a collaborative effort. And just happy that we were able to get the win.
Yak sort of set you up for a few of those catch and shoots with off-ball screens.
Yep.
Does that feel like it's natural and it's come back from where you guys left off, or is it just read and react kind of?
No, for sure. It's like he never left, just kind of the chemistry there. And even the plays, I forgot how much we talk, just talking through the whole game and trying to find ways to, be successful. And when he's catching in the pocket, trying to look the other way, he's so used to making the read, so he's got to get more comfortable with the roster that we have now. And but I thought he got better as the game went on, and just having another playmaker out there. He's a playmaker. He knows. He's got a very high IQ and is such a smart player. So definitely a luxury to have that at the center position.
And do you have a preference? I mean, you've had a bunch of different roles this year already, and things have changed pretty drastically. Now they're asking you to score. Do you prefer to be the scorer, or you prefer to be the guy off the ball a little more and set things up?
I just want to win. You know what I mean? So it's tough because, when you're not as involved and you don't have the impact on the stat sheet and you lose, then it just, it hurts a little bit more. But when I scored 30 plus and we lose, that hurts still. So, I finding ways to win, and, I think just trying to find more identity where we're going to be, as a group and as a collective. We'll be able to find more consistency, but it's tough to gauge it because it's been so up and down. But the wins feel good regardless of what my stats are.
Does it feel like you're finding that identity now? Like a little, Yak coming in certainly solidifies one area for you. But.
Yeah, we're getting settled a little bit. I think, again, it was the same thing last year. We had a lot of guys out, and it was just easier to put the pieces together. And this year we've had our full group more, it feels like, than we did last year. And, we struggled to put the pieces together. So that's the challenge of building a team and trying to find ways to be successful and to collect those wins. But again, we got 25 left. We got to try to get as many as we can and climb our way into the playoffs and fight from there. But I feel good about our group.
You mentioned that you and Yak used to communicate a lot right from the get-go, but how much have you maybe seen his IQ grow from before to now?
Well, he's just seen so much more, and he went to another system, and Pop has got a great system, and he's such a teacher that, Yak has learned so much in the 4.5 years that he was down there. He played with DeMar, he's played with other players, so played with DeJounte, and, he's got to learn from the experiences down there. So there's things that we can do that we'd never done before, and there's things that we used to do, as we both have grown as players. So I think he's going to help a lot of guys, and myself included, and, again, just happy to be here. We got to keep working him in. He used all 6 of his fouls, and he told me to hurry up, so let's finish up here soon.
I didn't say that, by the way. I was going to find a question on it, but I was sort of kind of joking.
Oh, great. No, Jakob told me to hurry up, so anybody got anything else? Let's go.
So, getting a win like this after Friday, what's the feeling? You talked about finding ways to win. What does it do for, team morale and, try to make that push with the last 25?
We just got to bounce back, man. That was a stinker. That hurts. After the deadline, didn't make much moves. We brought Yak in, and we played 3 quarters of good basketball and kind of the bed in the 4th there. So that hurt. Everybody was frustrated. For sure, but the game goes on. Detroit wasn't feeling sorry for us. They want to kick our butts, and Orlando doesn't care what we got going on. They want to kick our butts too. So, got to keep focused and just focus on the games that's in front of us. And like I said, try to pile them up as best we can.
What was the feeling like for your first start back in Toronto?
It was great. The atmosphere was great. It was fun getting out there. Yeah, especially now that I feel like these last 2 days alone have already helped me getting a little bit better adjusted. So, yeah, it was definitely fun playing.
Fred said that at times he felt like you guys had the chemistry that you had last time you were here. It did, I guess, one more game, but does it feel like at times that's what it was like?
For sure, yeah. Like I said, just knowing the plays a little bit better alone helps. The offense becomes more fluent. The defensive principles are a little bit easier to understand. Just having walked through it a couple of times in practice. So yeah, that really helped. And yeah, the chemistry with Freddie and Pascal, I'm not too worried about. I think we're gonna pick that up right away.
What are maybe some of the things you've noticed in the way Fred operates now versus before?
Well, I think he's gotten better at just creating his own shot, going into paint and just finding contact, finding his pull-ups, finding the different finishes around the rim. So I guess in general, the whole starting lineup is pretty talented in one-on-one basketball. So that's what we end up falling into, especially towards the end of the shot clock a lot of the times. Whereas back then, what I remember is we're just 5 young guys out there trying to run around the court. So a little bit of a different style, something I'm trying to get used to again, but where I might have to in some situations be a little bit more aggressive, look for my own shot. But yeah, like I said, I think they all just got a little bit better.
Were you pretty surprised this morning when they told you, or this afternoon when they told you were starting?
No, not really. I mean, like I said, it's an adjustment period for me, but yeah, I mean, depending on who's out there, I wasn't surprised if I was starting. Yeah.
Obviously, you've picked up a few fouls in the first 2 games. Other than the ones we can debate the merit of it, is it getting used to a more aggressive sort of defense, a different defense, or is it just nature of these 2 games and not something you're worried about?
I think it's a little bit of both. Especially today, I'm not really worried about that. I picked up a few there in the end, but I don't mind using my fouls. We do play a very aggressive style of defense, so that's going to come with that. I don't think I was really in foul trouble at any point, except for the very end there. And yeah, I think especially when you play that aggressive style, sometimes you're gonna get some questionable calls. Sometimes you're gonna get away with stuff. It's just gonna be the nature of the game, how the refs call that specific game. But we want to stick to our principles, so I'm gonna keep doing that. And I think it'll get better and better over these games, to finish out the rest of the season, to get a better feel for when to be aggressive, when to step back a little bit.
Can you use the All-Star break as a chance to deep dive, video-wise, into what these guys do? Is that something you would plan to do? I mean, it's the first for you, obviously, coming to a new team in the middle of the season.
I mean, I think it's a process. The All-Star game, the All-Star break doesn't really help or hurt that process in any matter. Right now, I got an iPad with all the plays on it. We're walking through it in practice all the time. So I think it's just a day-by-day thing. During All-Star break, obviously, we're not really going to have any practices, but I'm going to be able to look at stuff in different aspects. And I think the one thing that's going to help the most out of anything is just getting out there on that court and doing it in a game and getting used to the chemistry again.
Before the game, Dwayne Casey said that he considers you one of the highest IQ guys in the league. What does that mean to you coming from him, and how impactful was he to you in those early years?
I think he was very impactful. I really respect him as a coach. I especially looking back at it now. I feel like back then I was just a young kid trying to figure it out myself. But looking back at it, how he managed that team, I thought he did a really good job with us. And he led us to some really good seasons. I know we fell short in the playoffs, but we were playing really good basketball back then. So yeah, obviously that means a lot coming from my first NBA coach.
Nick talked about bringing you out defensively to the perimeter a little bit more than San Antonio did. Mm-hmm. You did that a little bit today. How do you feel out there?
It's fine. It depends on matchups, obviously. When I got switched on to Bogdanovic, it's one of those matchups where you want to press up, maybe make him drive, and rely on your teammates behind you to make some plays there. like I said earlier, we have a very active style of defense, so it's not something I'm like, I don't know at all. Like, I've played that style before. It's different to the last couple of years in San Antonio for sure, but it's definitely something I can do. Like, I don't think I'm going to be in like a 1-5 switch situation too many times, but it's going to happen that I'm going to end up on guards up on the perimeter. So, yeah, I think it's just a matter of like closing those gaps as a team and making plays.
Okay, Scottie. Obviously, tight game, but it felt like you guys had the momentum for the most part throughout, despite the close result. How did it feel out there?
It felt pretty solid. Was playing really well. They just got some calls that made them go to the free throw line. And then we just had to guard the ball a little bit better. It was getting some scores at the rim. But it felt good. Was playing great defense for most of the part of the game. Playing our offense, scoring the ball, so it felt good.
What's it like to play off of Jakob?
Jakob makes it easier. Being able to set a good screen roll, draws the defense in because he's so big as a target at the rim that you just have to guard him. So it was great playing with him. He's a very smart player as well, so you can throw it to him no matter where it's at, and he knows where he's at on the court, so he's able to score or play make out of it.
What's the team's like overall energy like? I think last week was really crazy with trade deadline, and now you guys are past that, and you're kind of finding some momentum down here before All-Star. What's the team energy like?
I think we still got the same team energy. Just try to stay together, fight through every game, try to win, play our hearts out.
You're impressed with Adrian Griffin today?
Huh?
Coach Adrian?
Oh yeah, he did a great job coaching. Got a dub for him today. Got the job done.
And then Super Bowl pick?
I would say the Chiefs.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Malachi, how did you feel like today's game when obviously you guys had a lead for the most part, and then the momentum kind of shifted it towards the end, but you guys still pulled it out?
Yeah, I mean, it just felt good to get a win. Basketball game of runs, they went on theirs, and then we kind of stopped it, and then the starters came back in and finished the game.
What was it like playing for Adrian Griffin today? I don't know, Nick Nurse is out for personal reasons.
It was good. I mean, he did a good job coaching us. We had a little walkthrough before the game and made sure we knew what we were doing. And then in the game, we were just trying to win for him, so it turned out on the good side.
Obviously, last week was pretty crazy with trade deadlines and rumors and noise and all that stuff, but how does it feel to kind of be on the other side of it and also with a new teammate like Jakob?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, he's going to be a great addition for us. I think everybody knows that. And then, just you can settle down. You don't got to worry about no outside noise, and just time to get things done.
And then a really, really tough question, but who's your Super Bowl pick tonight?
Oh, Chiefs. That's not tough.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on the win, but the team always seems to make things interesting down the stretch. It was up 41 on the fourth, probably isn't the perfect finish, but what do you think of the execution in the last minute or so?
Well, I thought we hung tough. I mean, we played a very good team. They got a lot of talent on there. You got to expect it's going to be a hard-fought game. And, even in the first half when, we were up a point or, you could feel the tension in the building like we were supposed to be up 20. This is the NBA, and it's every win and every game is going to be hard-fought and tough. And I thought our guys were resilient. They made some runs, but I think the only thing is, Bogdanovich got a little loose at times. We kind of lost focus of where he was. Can't give up some of those threes, but I think for the most part, we held them to under 100 points till probably the last 5 minutes of the game, so 6 minutes of the game. So it was good effort.
Fred gets 35 and Pascal 27. You need your best players to be your best players. What do you think of that today?
Well, just take your hat off to Fred and Pascal. I was joking, but I wasn't joking when I walked in the locker room after the game, and they were cheering me, and I said, well, thanks for helping me coach the game tonight, because Freddie was awesome. He was calling a lot of the plays and the sets on the offensive end, and it's same with Pascal, and Pascal got rolling, and I'm kind of from the old school. When someone gets a hot hand, you just keep going at him, and Pascal was awesome. But it's certainly a treat to have two guys out there that you can coach the team through. And in particularly, Freddie was particularly great.
Can you feel the impact that Poeltl is having back
For sure.
when he is out?
Absolutely. I thought how can I frame it? There was a couple of calls I thought that, with his size, it's going to be very difficult to score over him. And, I felt like, he was pretty solid at the rim. And unfortunately, we didn't get some of those calls. But that's the presence that he has at the rim. Just his length, his size, he's just massive. And then on the offensive end, yes, he's good around the rim, but he's also one of those bigs that can transfer the ball from side to side. He just has a great feel. When he was with San Antonio, they kind of flashed him to the elbows and kind of played through him. So he's very versatile. He's just not a one-trick pony. Certainly, we're better when he's on the floor.
Offensively, how much more do you see him opening things up for Fred?
Well, I think, offense is just not about one person. It's a collective effort. And probably what doesn't show up on the stat sheet is all the slot cuts and the cutting that we tried, we focused on. It was one of the key aspects of going into this game is that we had to open up the floor and get away from each other and give Freddie and Pascal and Scottie room to operate. A lot of times, team defenses are good, and they're going to scheme and they're going to load up. And so when you make that cut and you slot cut and you take your guy away, that's an unselfish act. And if you look, guys were awesome, especially in that second half, especially when Pascal was rolling and Freddie was rolling. And sometimes you're not going to touch the ball, but it's the right thing. And I thought our players did the right thing, for 48 minutes, playing for each other.
What do you think of the fit with Precious and Yak beside one another?
It was great. It was great. Like they're two completely different players. Precious could be an inside, he could be outside, very versatile. You saw we had him on Bogdanovich, and I know Bogdanovich had 33 points, but I thought Precious did a good job on him for the most part. And you have to guard him with multiple guys anyway. But, Precious had a couple, open looks on the perimeter, and I think he was turning them down. And I just said, listen, you work hard for those shots. We see you in the gym every day working hard, and we trust you. It's it's about making the right play. If you're open, and especially if your teammate have created a shot for you, we always talk about just letting it rip. Just let it fly, and there's only two things that can happen, and go in or you miss, and you make it or you miss it, and you shoot it with confidence and you live with the results.